everybody, David Heavener here, and I have a very special guest, Derek Gilbert. Hey, Derek.
David, it's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. Derek runs a TV network called Skywatch, right?
Skywatch TV host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you host it. In a nutshell, what is your mission, your ministry?
We explore the dark corners of the human experience from a Christian perspective. We believe that as followers of the God who spoke the universe into existence, our worldview should be big enough and powerful enough to answer questions about anything.
Well, if you explore the dark corners of human existence, you must be doing a lot of exploring, because I would say that's 99%. It's all corner. It's like one streak of light.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I just saw your presentation. We're here at The Watchman. I was kind of shocked. And I've read your stuff. I've followed you somewhat. And I want to address a couple things. H.P. Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Who was he?
H.P. Lovecraft is probably the most influential horror fiction author of the 20th century. He flourished in the 20s and 30s, died in 1937, basically penniless and not really well known, but he's been very influential. Horror authors like Stephen King, film producers like Roger Corman, James Cameron, Ridley Scott, the Alien series, draw a lot of inspiration from the imagery created by Lovecraft. His themes dealt with man's existence in a cold, unfeeling universe controlled by dark, powerful gods who have no care that we even exist.
Okay, so you're a Christian, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world? Why are you interested in H.P. Lovecraft? He writes horror fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of themes that come out of Lovecraft's writing that actually draw their inspiration from the Bible. For example, one of his most famous short stories was Dagon. Well, Dagon was a god of the Philistines. I've also done a lot of historical research. Dagon was also a god who was prominent in the area controlled by the Islamic State most recently, that part of Syria back in the days of Abraham. But when you look at the idea that the gods are the old gods are dead but dreaming, they're just lying dormant, waiting for the stars to align properly so they can return. That was a consistent theme in Lovecraft. And there's actually parallels in the Bible.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this guy Lovecraft, who was born many years ago, he's dead now,
Mm-hmm.
that when he was writing this stuff, that he could have been channeling some of these spirits? I'm still trying to get back to why, Derek,
okay.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I do now.
Okay.
The thing with Lovecraft is that he considered himself a man of science. He was an atheist, he believed.
Okay.
But when you examine his body of work and then compare that against the occultist Aleister Crowley, who was probably the most influential occultist of the 20th century, you find there are parallels that are beyond the realm of chance. And researchers, including Crowley's personal secretary and successor, Kenneth Grant, believed that Lovecraft was channeling the same spiritual source that fed Crowley his books for his religion, Thelema.
Okay, so what I think I hear you saying is there is a spirit that gets channeled through people generation through generation.
Right.
And the reason you're interested, you believe possibly he could have been a conduit,
Yes.
a funnel, a channel for this evil.
This evil, right.
Okay.
Grant, who was Crowley's successor, who believed that Lovecraft was channeling the same spirit, took Crowley's work, developed it into a new magical system called the Typhonian Order, named for the Egyptian god of chaos, Typhon. Well, chaos magic is very prominent right now. I'm certainly not an expert on the occult today, but we can see some of the influence. You can go on the web, you can do a search for it, you'll find it all over the place. I mean, I think it's ironic that there are people actually professing to believe a system based on chaos. I mean, that's self-contradictory.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Exactly. So why would a Christian be interested in any of this?
Well, the thing that led us down this path was Josh Peck and I, the co-authors of my co-author in a book called The Day the Earth Stands Still, which is a reference to the classic 1951 film, Klaatu Barada Nikto. We found that when you looked at the parallels between Lovecraft's and Crowley's work, and then looked at the influence that Lovecraft has had on the modern ancient aliens hypothesis. Basically, the book Chariots of the Gods, written by Eric von Daniken, was inspired by an earlier book called Morning of the Magicians, written by a pair of French authors, who basically drew their themes straight out of Lovecraft's body of fiction. Lovecraft, inspired by or channeling perhaps the same spirit as Aleister Crowley, led to Chariots of the Gods, which Eric Von Daniken has sold like 63 million books. That's the most popular book of archaeology in history, which led to 12 seasons of Ancient Aliens.
Oh, wow.
And the key is that when it comes to what people actually believe, recent surveys show that there are more people who believe that Earth is being visited by extraterrestrials than believe in the God of the Bible.
That's absolutely. I agree with that. Now, on that note, me being in Hollywood for all these years, I have gone to parties where I've seen people channel ancestors, spirits. Something else, Derek. You know, I've made horror films. I made Dawn of the Living Dead. I've made 4 or 5 horror films. I believe, and I'm going to ask you this question. I believe that that's a way of channeling spirits. I believe that it's possible for certain movies that have been created is a channel for delivering evil. And I'll give you an example. The Exorcist. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There was something spiritual about that movie. It was not a normal movie. Okay, things happened on the set. Linda Blair, who I know, she I don't know if you know this, but she was not the actual girl who got tormented. She had a double, and I spoke to the double. And the double told me of all the extraterrestrial, all the strange things happening on the set. Now, I made a movie called Dawn of the Living Dead, and cars started on their own. Trucks started on their own. I mean, very strange things. So when I started listening to you today on H.P. Lovecraft, I'm going, wait a minute. This could be happening through Hollywood too.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that Lovecraft created a grimoire, a fictional grimoire, a book of evil spells called the Necronomicon, which people believe was real. Grant believed that he was channeling it from the Akashic records, which is a theosophic concept, New Age concept. You know, that out in the ether somewhere is the whole sum of human knowledge, and that he was downloaded this information. Now, Lovecraft said, no, he just made it up. His friends, his author friends, borrowed his work, created this whole mythos around the Necronomicon. But in 1977, a researcher under the pseudonym Simon published it, 666 copies. And you can find it today on it's still in publication today. But there are people who claim that you can use that book to cast spells, even though it was basically just cribbed from ancient Babylonian text. If you believe it and you're opening yourself up to that realm,
right,
and asking them to do things for you, they will answer.
Yeah. Okay, so to sum this up, and this is layman's terms, you believe, and I believe, that there are channels that the evil spirits come through, that the evil one sends the spirits through from generation to generation. I mean, it could be many within one generation. And he finds avenues and people to do it.
Yeah.
And that's where you tie in H.P. Lovecraft.
Right.
And Crowley.
Yeah. Lovecraft was an unwitting dupe, apparently.
Okay.
And because of their work, the inspiration of their work led to this belief that these old gods that are somewhere out there waiting for the stars to align are coming back. And there are people in the UFO community today who are looking for that and waiting for that because they see in the UFO phenomenon and in the potential existence of our space brothers, the answers to the big questions of life. Why are we here? Where did we come from? And what happens when we die? Okay. And of course, those are answers that we as Christians should be prepared to answer.
Absolutely. Now, are these people like H.P. Lovecraft, Crowley, are they willing souls? Are they unwilling? Are they enlightened? Are they just...
Well, Aleister Crowley and Kenneth Grant, Austin Osman Spare, another founder of the chaos magic that was developed from Crowley's initial work, they were certainly willing participants.
Okay.
The practitioners of chaos magic today, certainly they are. Lovecraft was not, but Lovecraft, when he was a 6-year-old kid, was afflicted with night terrors. He was these horrible dreams of these black humanoid entities with rubbery skin and wings that would carry him off to dreamland. He tried for a whole year not to go to sleep at night because he was terrified. And that influenced his writing in later years. So he may have considered himself an atheist, but not recognized that he was under some sort of spiritual guidance or attack of some sort. And again, the fruit of what he did, even though he wrote in later years, this body of work I've created, this mythos of alien gods, certainly as an author, never intended to mislead any of our readers. And yet there are people who bought it, believed it. And again, it inspired Eric Von Daniken to come up with Chariots of the Gods and that now is almost like a received text in the modern UFO community.
Well, so what happens is people, filmmakers, I won't mention names, you may have, but I won't, but they follow these people, they read their books, and it comes out through another avenue, such as film.
Sure. And storytelling is a powerful form, you know.
That's what I do.
I mean, Dan Brown, for example, with the Da Vinci Code, prior to his work on that book, that was inspired by a Gnostic book called Holy Blood, Holy Grail, which I tried to read, could never get through it because it was really kludgy. A lot of people tried to read the book and rejected it because it was presented as nonfiction, but put it in the form of a story with a heroic protagonist and a great storyline, great action, and put it on film with a great leading man in Tom Hanks, and suddenly you've got thousands and thousands of people traveling
to it.
Roslyn Chapel in Scotland to try to decipher the mystery of the Grail.
So you've created a great hamburger and you've put some arsenic on it, right? And you're trying to, you know what, Derek? I could. This is one of these interviews I could go on, but I can't. I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can connect with you and reach you.
Skywatch TV is online at skywatchtv.com. We also have a channel on Apple TV, on Roku. You can also find us on YouTube, of course. My own website is derekpgilbert.com. That's DEREKPGilbert.com. And every week, my wife and I do a Bible study on Sunday. Probably nothing like most folks would connect with Bible study, but we get into stuff like this during our Bible study. It's at gilberthouse.org, gilberthouse.org.
I'm going to have to tune into that one. And you guys remember to go to lastevangelist.com, sign the newsletter. God said build a community. Don't go to investors. Go to my people. They will fund it. And we're getting close. Thank you. God bless you, Derek. Thank you.
My honor. Thank you.
God bless you. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.